How are you guys doing? How's everybody doing today? Going live. What's up? How's everybody doing? Going live on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok all at the same time. Today we're going to do another live Q&A. Since many of you asked questions after yesterday's Q&A, we're doing another live Q&A today. So if you have a question, feel free to ask it. It could be about anything. I don't care what it is. If you follow my content, you already know what's up. Hold on, let me see. Let me make sure I'm on here. Yeah, if you follow my content, if you follow my content, then you know what's up. So if you have a question about relationships, about success, about attitude, positivity, whatever you have a question about, please feel free to ask it. I want to make sure that I'm adding value to your life. How you doing, South Mountain on Instagram? How you doing, CAI? How you doing on, I know who you are, don't I? How you doing? How's everybody doing, by the way? Remember, wherever you're joining from, that's Yolanda. That's right. Wherever you're joining from, make sure that you tell me where you're joining from, whether it's in the United States or another part of the world. We typically have tons of countries that join us. I know who you are, Yolanda. I just had to figure out what your username was. In fact, Yolanda, one day soon, I need to have you on my Positive TV live Instagram. I want you to come on. You and I are just going to kick it for an hour. We're just going to talk back and forth like we normally do. So type yes if you're down for that. I would like to have you on. It's Sunday, 2:15 Eastern Standard Time, 1:15 Central Standard Time. You and I just need to get on and just have a conversation just about life, because I think you have a lot that you can, a lot of value that you can add. So type yes, text me. Right. Okay, good. So I will be hitting you up to let you know when you and I could do that in the coming weeks. So I'll make sure we coordinate our schedules, because I really, the world needs to hear your amazing perspectives. So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you're joining from, make sure you let me know where you're joining from. And if you have a question about anything, I don't care what it is, leave it in the comment section below. After yesterday's live, so many people messaged me and emailed me, and I wanted to make sure that I added more value to your life. This is going to be our time together. Just a couple of things to get out of the way. Many of you have asked me, even though I mentioned it yesterday, do I do one-on-one coaching or mentoring? The answer is yes. If you're interested in entering into a coaching or mentoring relationship with me, you can email me. CoachDanielSmiley@gmail.com. CoachDanielSmiley@gmail.com. If I can't get you to where you're trying to get to in 30 to 90 days, then I'm not the right guy. I promise you I can help you with that. Number two, many of you are asking me, where did you get that shirt from? I own a positive t-shirt company. It's called Positive Tees by Daniel. Just the link is in the bio on Instagram, link is in the bio on Facebook, link is in the bio on TikTok. You can go check out shirts there. It's over 100 designs. This one says building a legacy. That is important to me. Building a legacy is important to me. Adding value to your life tonight. So if you have a question about anything, I want you to answer it. Here's what we also going to do. Today, I am going to give you my top 4 takeaways from one of my favorite books in the entire world. And it's How to Win Friends and Influence People. It is an awesome book by Stephen Covey. Awesome. Absolutely amazing. Hold on one second. What did you do? What did you do? Get up, Daniel. Come get up. What were you doing? I'm sorry I had to walk away for a second, but I had to walk away because I heard a boom and this little pretty girl had fallen down. You okay? So sit up here. So this is my amazing daughter. What's your name?
Danielle.
You okay? You still crying? No? So you're going to do this live with me today? Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm going to do the live today with Danny as long as she can take it. So if you have a question, please leave it in the comment section below. I will answer every single question before this live is over. If you are joining late, you can catch the replay on YouTube, Instagram TV, or Facebook. Either one, doesn't matter. Thank you, Yolanda. She is absolutely amazing. My joy. Okay, so let's get into this really quickly. 7 habits of highly effective people. These are my 4 takeaways from the 7 habits of highly effective people. Success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. How you doing, Virtual Sasha? Sending you good vibes too. Success leaves clues. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can learn from somebody else's success and make a few tweaks and garner your own success. Have your own success. Success leaves clues. They said you are so pretty. She is. She's absolutely. She gets her beauty from her mom, definitely not from her daddy. Right? Okay, so success leaves clues. Now, what am I saying? If you find someone that you like what they've achieved in their life, study that person's life, because that person's life has left clues to help you to understand how they got to where they got to, and you can do the exact same thing. So 7 habits of highly effective people is kind of like that. Okay, so let's talk about this. My 4 takeaways, the four habits that I absolutely live by on a daily basis and that I love. You got to sit here with me. Put your hand down. All right. So, number 1. This habit is be proactive. Now, most people wait for things to happen in their lives instead of making things happen in their life. You have the power to create your life. The power it's in your hands. You have the power to do it. But most people are waiting, for whatever reason, they're waiting for someone to make it happen for them. But you have to be proactive. Pursue those things that you want to have happen in your life. You have to be proactive. The next one is begin everything with the end in mind. We were talking about relationships, right? I was sharing with you guys when I initially met my wife, I sat down with her and I said, listen, I'm not interested in just dating anybody. I'm interested in marriage. So if that's not what you're interested in, then I'm not the guy for you. And obviously it was for her. That's why we married. But beginning with the end in mind means that you have an idea about where you want to end up. And that's what you're pushing towards. That is the carrot. That is the goal. Beginning everything you do with the end in mind is absolutely critical if you're going to be successful. You can't just be starting just to start. You can't not get started because you don't have the full picture. Begin with the end in mind. The third takeaway is seek first to understand, then to be understood. Now, this is probably the biggest adjustment that I had to make in my own life personally. Seeking to first understand another person's perspective before trying to force my perspective on that person. Seeking first to understand the solution a person is looking to gain from a particular relationship or what have you. I had to learn that. That was one of the biggest things that I had to learn, is seeking to understand, then to be understood. Okay? And finally, the fourth habit that's important is sharpening the saw. Now, sharpening the saw really means, are you getting the necessary tools you need from someone. The Bible says like this: iron sharpens iron, right? Iron sharpens iron. It takes iron to sharpen iron. So if you want to be sharp in your life, you need to surround yourself with people who are super sharp. Sit still, baby. So that's what you need to do. Surround yourself. Yolanda is one of those people in my life, right? Yolanda is like absolutely smart, super smart, and amazingly thoughtful. And so she's one of the people that if I have something on my mind and I'm thinking hard about it, I may give her a call. We've been friends for 100 years, it seems like, and she'll give me her feedback on it, her perspective on it, which helps me. Iron sharpens iron. You gotta make sure that you are spending your time with people who can make you better, help make you better. The big issue that a lot of people have is they're hanging around people that's not going anywhere. And that's just the truth. Hanging around people who you're just not going anywhere. And then you wonder why you are where you are in your life. But you got to have people in your life that inspire you, that push you, that are proud of you, that can help make things happen in your life. You got to make sure that that's what you're doing. So those are if you want to get a book that's really going to teach you about success basics, you need to get the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, I'm not an affiliate. It's just a book that has impacted my life. I think I read this book. I was looking at, I always, in every book that I get, I always write down the date, the month, and the year that I got it. I've had this book since, I think it's been 15 years now. I got it maybe in 2005 or 2006, one of the two, 14 or 15 years. And that book has greatly impacted my life. So what books, leave in the comment section out, what are some books that you like reading? That's number one. And number two, if you have a question that you would like to have answered, I want you to ask that question now. Okay, you can go. Give me a kiss.
I have one thing to say.
What?
Love Daddy too.
You love me? I love you too, baby. You're so awesome. Thank you. Be careful, okay?
Okay.
All right. So those books are that book is the book that impacted my life. One of the books that impacted my life. So if there are like 4 or 5 books that I can tell you that I've read, this will be one of the top 4 books that I believe that has helped me to become what it is I've become. G. Willie says nowadays it's hard to find someone to hang out with, without a doubt. You know, G. Willie, I agree with you. You know, it is hard. There's so much going on on social media and in people's personal lives that sometimes instead of finding a close friend, someone that is close to you where you are, you might have to seek social media relationships like this, right? I don't know if you guys know who Gary Vee is, but there are some people that I just cling to, and I've never met Gary Vee in person, but I've consumed a ton of his content, audio, his podcast, Instagram, YouTube, and that's one of the ways that I sharpen my saw. I make sure that I am getting information from people like that who are doing big things. Gary is a pure entrepreneur. If you're an entrepreneur and you're interested in entrepreneurship, then he's somebody you might want to hang on to. But you got to make sure that you hang out with people who are like-minded. And find people. I know it's tough. G. Willie, I agree with you. It's very tough to find people who are like-minded, who are sharp. But you can, again, success leaves clues. You can always find it in an audiobook, YouTube, Instagram. There are a ton of people out there that's doing a lot of stuff that inspire you. And now every voice out there you won't identify with. Some people's voices, I mean, they're saying some great stuff, but some people's voices I can't take for too long. And I know that there are some people who probably can't take my voice for too long. So you find somebody who you can really, really identify with and who can help you get to the next level in your life. So I hope that helps. Yolanda, I'm going to ask you to do something real quick. This is an opportunity for us. Yolanda, can you join me live on Instagram? Just request to join live on Instagram. It'll give us an opportunity to talk back and forth and give people an opportunity to meet you if you want to do that. Yolanda is an awesome person. So, anything special happen in your day today? Right? Leave that in the comments. I want to know what happened in your day that made your day absolutely amazing. One of the other things that I do too is I'm a systematic thinker, so I have to. My day had okay. So hang on for. So what you do is you. I think there's a button that says that asks requests to join me live on Instagram. It's got to be at the bottom somewhere. G Willie, I really appreciate that. I do this because I love you. I really do. I love you guys. I want to make sure. I want to see everybody win. I really do. And that's what matters to me. Because we all have the ability to win in life. And some people, they don't have that kind of influence. How you doing, Bull TV? How you doing? Where are you joining from, Bull TV? Babe. So I think you got to grab that door for me. Grab the door for me. I was asking you to close that door for me. You want to? Why are you standing here? You want to stay here with me? Okay. So, Yolanda, I think there's a button. You gotta request to join me live. So one of those down there at the bottom. Request to join me live, and then I'll have you on so that you and I can have a conversation, just a quick conversation. So if you have a question about anything, how is everything going in everybody's lives? Relationships good, money's good. How are you staying safe through COVID? How are things going in the country where you are? How are those things happening in your life? That's what I want to know. And today is day 22, I think, 21 or 22 of 40 days to freedom, power, and success. So for 40 days straight. Yeah, for 40 days straight. Okay, cool. Just jump out and jump back in and then request to join live so you and I can have a conversation. But 40 days to free. There it is right there. Okay, I'm gonna have you come on real quick. All right. Good. It's second. 40 days to freedom, power, and success. Yolanda's going to jump on and have a quick conversation with me. And I want to get you, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely amazing.
Totally underprepared.
Now listen, we are live on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. People can't see your face except for on Instagram, but they'll be able to see it on the replay.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to have a conversation with you. First of all,
sure.
How long have we known each other?
Whew.
Like 100 years?
I was 16 and I am now 52. So that's about 36 years.
Wow. And one of the people, and I think that one of the people that I think that knows me best in the world, it will be you. Would you agree with that?
I probably know you pretty well.
Definitely one of the people. So tell everybody what you do, and then I want to get your opinion on a couple of things that's going on in the world today.
Okay. So what I do when I go to work is I'm a dean at a state college here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I run satellite campuses, and I also run the Department of Transfer Services and Articulation.
Oh, wait. What? Is that some other stuff? Wait a minute. What happened? There's some other stuff in there that you're doing that I didn't know about?
I think I've had this position. Yeah, you may not know that I got it permanently probably about 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago. I may not have mentioned it, but yeah. So, but I've been doing it for a little while, about 8 months.
Okay, so you said you got the position permanently about 3 months ago is what you were saying?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I know you had a lot of big things going on in your life. So tell me, what is your thoughts on? Okay, what is your thoughts on everything that's going on in the world today? And I want to talk about things that are going on with the Black Lives Matter movement, that kind of stuff. Talk to me about what your thoughts are on those types of things.
Well, I think with anything that is going awry or have gone awry, any levels of unfairness, things that are upside down, always has a day of reckoning. So I believe that what's happening right now is the day of reckoning. It just so happens that it's happening at the same time as a pandemic, which kind of sheds even greater light because everyone is home. I remember in the 60s and the early 70s, there was a song that said the revolution will not be televised. And it wasn't televised back then, but now it's streamed. So we get to actually see what's going on. We get to see a police officer put his knee in the neck of a Black man who had already surrendered and kill him. We get to see the abuse that is happening. And the generation that's coming up behind our generation says that we're not taking that. So they're not passive aggressive. They're going after what they believe to be the right things, or they're trying to set the records straight. They understand systematic racism. They understand the problems that are going on in our societies systemically that has happened since the beginning of time. And they're saying, no, we won't be party to it. We are not our parents or our grandparents or our great grandparents. Today is the day that we have to reckon and say, we got to get this right. So I'm loving what I'm seeing when I see young people with middle-aged people, with older people out in the street protesting. I love all of the things that I've seen. I do wish they would wear masks, all of them, but they don't. But I understand. But I think that it needs to be more than just talk. It
Mm-hmm.
has to be more than just a march. We have to put our monies where our mouth is. We have to be willing and to not shop at places that we love to shop, not wear brands that we once loved to wear, in order to make a real difference in society. Otherwise, we're going to see more of the same, right? They'll give us a street, or they'll paint Black Lives Matter in the street. That'll wash away, and then we're back to normal. So I'd like to see this really change society. And I think where we all start is voting.
Yep.
I believe I'm a proponent of it. My grandmother taught me about voting very young, and I believe in it. I have been doing it most of my life. And I think that we have to make a decision, and that decision has to be something that we're not only thinking about ourselves, but also the people that we love, like our elderly people and our young people. So we have to vote our interests, but not just our own interest, the interest of those that we love.
So one of the things that I love about you is that you're in the instance of the young people who are kind of they're at the forefront of this uprising, is being the dean of an institution in Florida. You have your hands. You're very close and have been for years, very close to people who are in that, I guess, 18 to 26 range or what have you. So tell me, what do you think? What are you seeing that's different in them and their tenacity and their will? Because many of them did not have to experience some of what you and I had to experience. Maybe they heard it from their parents. Some of them may have experienced, but what are you seeing? What is the difference between that generation and this generation that's happening now and our generation, you think?
I think there are many differences. Number one, being a Generation X, we were raised by the baby boomers. And basically, they taught us certain principles: go to school or learn a trade or go to work with someone and work for them for 30 years. Get a
Right.
pension or retirement, retire, and that is a good life.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Generation Y and the Generation Z, because we did so well in following the directions of our elders, we were able to make a better life for our children and our children's children. And so they've had the affordability, the opportunity to live more of a middle class life. Not everyone,
Right.
not all, but a lot of
Right.
them. A lot of them still live with their parents, or a lot of parents still help or take care or provide for them as they go through college or as they make the mistakes that young people often do. And the difference is they don't care. They'll quit a job if that job is not working for them. If they don't feel connections, especially with Generation Z, the one that's coming up, the 18 to 21-year-old right now, if they don't feel
Mm-hmm.
a connection to what they do, to the job that they're working with, if they don't feel something, they will quit the job, walk away, and no longer be a part of it. We aren't like that, right? We work, even if we have our own business. I know that you're a very successful businessman. We'll keep working and keep working and keep working at that thing until it's success.
Right.
Then they'll throw it away and start something new. They don't have a problem with losing. They don't have a problem calling each other out or being called out. And that they are the era of the internet and social media. So they're accustomed to it. They understand immediate responses. They don't need the news the way we once did. They understand that if they have a problem, they can go right to the internet and it could go viral in a matter of no time. So they can go to a job and have racism happen to them, quit the job, go
Mm-hmm.
on the internet, and the next thing you know, that company is going out of business, or they're firing the head person because it just kept picking up. That generation understands that, and they're not afraid to use the tools. So it's very different, and
So
they're very highly supported. There is a legacy behind them that allows them to be able to do things that we did not have.
so that's very interesting that you say that. So the stability of the parents allowed them to have a little bit more freedom to kind of do what it is they want to do. And you're correct. You know, as parents, we're trying to make a better. We've been for a long time trying to make a better life for our children. Making sure that they have both parents in the home if that's possible. Making sure that we make money and have years that give them options. And so maybe many people didn't think that they were providing that for their kids, but now that they see that they are, because you're right. Um, my kids, they have choices. Now I'm not saying because I gave them choices, but they feel like and believe they have choices, and so they're not gonna put up with the BS. They're just not gonna do it, right?
Correct.
It's either we're gonna come together and do this together, or you're gonna do this by yourself. I'm moving on to something else. So, do you think it's because they understand? Well, I know obviously they're connected with social media and all those kinds of things. They understand the power of the medium, right?
Right.
Uh, but I'm interested to know what your thoughts are on what is this fuel that's behind this fire that these young people have, that they're like, you know what, I don't care what my mom and dad, I'm gonna be out here on these streets and I'm gonna make things happen. And not just black kids, but all races, many races are coming together to, it's just completely different. Is that what you're seeing, or is that what you
Oh
understand?
yeah. I think young people have a sense of fairness, right? We raised our children to believe in fairness. We really did, and I don't have any children, so when I say our children, I mean my nieces, nephews, other people's children that I've watched grow
And
up
all
over
of
the
those
years.
babies that you have at the university that you're at.
I do. So many. We always taught them a sense of fairness. What's right? What's wrong? A sense of fairness. You deserve to be here. And we push them forward in that. So I think young people get a greater sense or an understanding of not settling for what we had to settle for because we had no choice.
Right.
They have choices. They can say no. That is not fair. I learned fairness from my parents, from my whomever, and this is not fair. I want to be treated like everyone else. They don't have a sense of color the way we do, right? Young people, when I used to teach at a high school, they used to say to me, Miss Brown, we don't see color the way your generation sees color. They just see people. It's the adults or the older people who teach them how to be what they are. Many children, the majority of the children, have been taught fairness. You work hard, you should be rewarded. You do the right thing, you should move forward. So whether you're white, black, Asian, whatever race you are, you understand that. And when you see that that is not happening and there's a disparity that you can see continuously for one race or another, you say, I want to do something about it. Remember, this generation is a generation of action, right? Whether it be hashtags or they go out, they believe in, I want to do something. I don't just want to talk about it. I
Right.
want to do something about it.
So I
And
was going
that's
to
what
say,
they're doing.
yeah, one of the things I was going to say is they are like, listen, I I don't just have the power to say I want change. I have the power to affect change, and they are willing to. This is something else too. They are like many civil rights leaders in the past. They are willing to put their lives on the line in order to make that happen. And I agree that the pandemic has kind of made it more visible because people are at home. But to be out on the streets in the midst of a pandemic, to show power and unity, it is on a different level. This is completely different from when we were growing up. Would you say that that's the case too?
I really would. I would definitely say that. I mean, the way I was raised, I probably would have done the same thing as a young person because my mom she was a black nationalist and she was always in a fight for freedoms. My mom was always a first. Her class was the first class that integrated Killeen High School. My mom was one who always fought for freedom for not only black people, but for also women. That has always been who she was, and she raised me that way. So would I have done it? I probably would have been one of those people in the 60s or 70s in the streets. It just so happens that when we grew up in the 80s, I graduated from high school in the mid 80s, we were kind of in a different era, right? Racism
Right.
still existed, but it was more covert than overt. It was
Right.
more systematic. It was financial. So we didn't get it the way the generation before us got it. And we didn't see it the way we're seeing it now since we have this new administration that we've had. Well, it's not new. They're going into 3.5 years. So we haven't seen this level of racism since we were children. So it was different. It was a different era. Nobody really was protesting a whole lot of things the way that they are now. But yeah, this generation is empowered and they should be. And I believe that they're doing the right things. Now here's the part that I do want to say. As with youth, right, they feel as if they have the ability to live forever. We all felt
Mm-hmm.
that. You remember, you were an
Right.
athlete. You remember
Right.
when you could eat whatever you want, do whatever you
Right.
want, and
Right.
you stayed in shape, right?
Right.
Do
Right.
that now, and you see,
Different.
extra stuff everywhere.
That's right.
So invincibility comes with youth. That is a part of being young. But what needs to happen is there needs to be some level of focus or direction. And that comes with being mature. So we have a place in this. We play a role in this. And that is, we are the mature ones who understand and who've lived a little, who can say, I understand where you're coming from with your emotions. We need that. We need that fire. But let's direct it a little bit better. So, for example, defund the police. Of course, it's being twisted in a way that's negative. The old police
Right.
will be there. They're going to take all the money from the police. And when a crime happens, you won't have anybody to call. So, of course, that is an extreme. And defunding the police is also an extreme. But the ideology behind community policing and having a circle that can surround a community of mental health workers, of social workers, and you have all of that in one place instead of
Mm-hmm.
instead of militarizing the police, and
Mm-hmm.
make us feel like, you know, we're under some type of military rule doesn't work. But when you refocus and say, we want to not really defund, but we want to share the funding and expand what policing looks like in America. We understand that as adults who've lived, because we know we need both sides. We need police. We just need them not to kill us. We need
Okay,
police.
I want you to respond to something. So G Willie says, I want to say, in my opinion, the next generation will destroy the world internally. I mean, the way nobody accepts others and nobody accepts other religions, political, I guess politics will drive the community. That's okay, G Willie. So what do you think? Do you think, Yolanda, again, you have your hands, your life is surrounded by shaping the next generation. Every single year you have people that are coming through your institution. Do you think that they are going to be people who destroy? Now, I have an opinion on this as well, but do you think that they're the type of people that's going to destroy, or they're going to help build a firmer foundation in this world?
Okay, so in order to do that, I got to go the long way, if you don't mind.
Okay, I don't.
So I read this book. I read this book many years ago by T.D. Jakes, Woman Thou Art Loose, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a really religious person. I'm not really into religion like that, but and that's a talk for another day. But
Mm-hmm.
Woman Thou Art Loose, and it talked about each role of the generations, right?
Mm-hmm.
The younger generation is the one who comes in, who's building, who's coming up with all the great and grand ideas. They're strong and they move forward, right?
Yep.
The
Yes.
middle-aged one is the one who's been here, who's been working, and who gets it and can help direct. The elder is the one who has all the wisdom and the knowledge who pass all of that down.
Right.
So do I think that the younger generation is going to destroy no more than we did? But we destroyed a lot of things, right? We
Yep.
destroyed a lot of things. We made pollution worse. We put a million times more cars on the road. We did not follow what because we should be the Jetsons by now. We shouldn't
Right.
still be riding on the archaic fuel, the fossil fuels that we are still riding on, right?
Right.
So the pollutions in the city and all the things that we've done, that's our generation. That's the generation before us. They started it and we propelled it forward. The next generation that's coming behind us, there is some imploding that is going to happen or that is happening. But if we can stay connected and not separate ourselves generationally, so much so that we say young people we're jealous of and middle class people think they know it all, and let's throw our elderly people away and understand how holistically we all work together, we can make this work. Young people are they're gonna be young. They're gonna do what they do. But we have to have people who are willing to be patient enough with them and work with them, no matter how frustrating they are in their youth. Because that's how they get the focus and the direction that they're going in. But let me just say this. I think our generation we're fighting getting older. And let me tell you how.
Yeah, we old as hell.
Rappers are now in their 50s,
Right.
late 40s and 50s. It's time to get out the game, or at least change the game, right?
Right.
A lot of us look as young as, and we date as young as we look.
Right.
And what we're doing is we are not giving to a generation someone to look up to. We are saying, I am as young or youthful as you are. So it's infighting. There's a war between us. So younger people don't really want to listen to us right now because we're not acting our age, so to speak, our maturity. And we no longer in the house of our parents who super ruled us, right? Who were very strict, who
Right.
super ruled us, and we kind of tossed them. You really don't know what you're talking about. You didn't know then and you don't know now. So that's what you're seeing. So I don't think that this generation is going to implode or destroy any more than we did. But it's our responsibility to be the mature ones so we can help them and give them someone to look up to versus trying to be them or outdo them.
Yeah, and I wanted to just add like just a couple to that as well. So I agree with you that I do not believe that our kids or this generation that's out on the streets now protesting are going to destroy, I agree with you, any more than we would have or any more than our parents believe that we would, right? I remember when I first got married, my mom says, well, why would you marry this person? You don't know this person. But it worked for 25 plus years. So, and all of us are like that. Each one of us are, we don't want to see our children make some of the mistakes that we either saw others make or we've made ourselves. So we give them the advice based on our experience. But what has been happening, I believe, is many of us have come from an impoverished background. We've been afforded the opportunity to educate ourselves and elevate ourselves, if you will, financially to middle class or upper middle class or even in the 1%, which means our kids not only have more access physically to things that we did not have access to because our parents didn't have access to it, but kids can see the world unlike we saw the world without even leaving their bedroom. So they have a larger perspective on the world. I've been fortunate enough to travel all over the world, right? But they can see those places that I've been to, experience virtually those places that I've been to without ever being there. So that because of social media, because of the internet, I believe that their perspective is much broader than ours. What do you think about
Yes.
that?
Yes, they know more than us in a lot of ways, but they're also immaturities, right? Because I don't know if your mom told you this,
Right.
being a woman, being a girl at the time, my mom always used to say to me, you can't skip steps. Either you jump over and have to come back down and be a grown up and have to relive all of these immaturities that you should have done, or you're just going to take your time, stop trying to grow up so fast and take each step.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I think that where we had to take steps, they're taking leaps because they have the exposure to things that we had no idea. Remember encyclopedias?
Yeah,
And
I do.
every
I
year,
do.
every year or every so many years,
You get a new
um,
encyclopedia for
you get a
all
new.
these damn
That's how
books.
we learn things.
Yeah,
If we
with a
wanted to
library,
look up
and
a
we also
word,
went to the library and had library cards.
that's right. And if we wanted to look up a word, we had to go to a dictionary.
Right.
And now everything is at a fingertip.
It's,
Everything.
yeah.
So your
The
parents go and
entire
tell you something,
encyclopedia is on their mobile device.
correct. Your parents tell you something, you can go fact check them and come back and tell them that they're wrong and show them that they're wrong. We had no idea.
Wow.
We just believed it. So
So
yeah, different
so
generations.
here's what I want to do. I'm gonna reach out to you because I want to schedule a time where you and I can talk about uh, the strength of this generation. I
Yes.
really want you to just. I want to. I mean, I want to because I think that there are people who are our age. They're mid 40s to mid 60s that they don't understand the tenacity, the drive, the will, the unwillingness to quit. They don't understand that about this generation. And I don't think that this generation is, in their mind, they are just fighting for themselves. I believe that they're saying, you did that to my mama, and I'm going to make you pay now. You did that to my dad, I'm going to make you pay. Because they saw their parents go through, not necessarily racism, but the struggle of trying to give them a middle class, upper middle class life. So I want to bring you back on if you're open to it, and I want you to just share, because you're right in the middle of it. You're right in the middle of these college age. And like, what is the average age, low, high at the university where you are?
Well, 17, 18-year-olds, I deal with them all the time, but I also deal with older people. It's definitely a community type college. And so we have older people who come at night, younger people who are there in the day. I have I have the generation span, but most of our students are traditional students. A lot of our students are traditional students coming
Yeah,
right out
and
of
I
high
would,
school.
and you've been not, you haven't just been at this institution. You've been at many other institutions. So
I have,
you've been
I have.
you've
I've
been
been at this
cultivating,
for about 20 years.
right? So you have been touching young lives for the past 20 plus years. So you have a perspective that we're not seeing on media, and I would love for you to come back and share that with the community, so that people can really understand from your perspective of dealing with these young people, kind of what's going on with them, why they think the way they think, and how their minds are being shaped in the whole 9 yards. You open to doing that?
I would love to. I would love to. I just want to leave with one thing though.
Yeah.
Not only do I want to talk about them, I want to talk about our role with them, if that's okay. Because we still have a part. We can't just walk away. We can't get frustrated. We have to see our part in their development. If we leave them to their own devices, they will grow wayward without the honor and respect that is needed. So we don't walk away from principles. We just figure out how to do it where it impacts this generation differently then.
Okay. I love that. So I'm going to send you a message.
Okay.
One day next week, we'll come back on and we'll continue this dialogue, because I really believe that it's strange to me. Here's something else. This is not just happening in America. This movement is happening in many different places all over the world, and that
Correct.
makes it unique and different as well. So, one day next week, you and I are going to come together, and I'll see what works best with your schedule. And we're going to come on. We're going to dedicate 45 minutes to an hour to go over and talk about those things that you just spoke about: our youth, our part, the part we play, how we can lead and guide them. They're young. They have the energy and the tenacity. How can we help guide them to accomplish whatever it is that needs to be accomplished in this particular time? And the other thing I want to talk about is your thoughts on the administration and where those things are going, because I know that you have some political views as well, and give people a educated perspective, intellectual perspective on those types of things as well. I'm going to give you the last word.
I think that we people, meaning not just Black people, I mean, we as people, we need to be compassionate. We need to make sure that we understand one another, and we need to be knowledgeable. And that doesn't mean you have to go to college. That just means that you either need to read, like you were talking about earlier, surround yourself with people who know, or find a mentor. Whatever, we're never too old to have one.
Right.
Whatever it is, you need to understand, know, and be compassionate in your dealings with others. And I think that if more of us did that, this would be a different world. And that's
I
all I
love you
have
so
to say.
much. You're awesome.
Love you too.
You're gonna be in my life for the next 500 years too. So
Hey,
next week,
I look
guys, stay
forward to
tuned.
Danny's
Next week.
grandchildren.
Yeah, that's right. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
All
Thanks,
right, you take
Yolanda.
care. All
All right,
right,
bye bye.
bye-bye.
All right, thank you guys. I think this is going to be an amazing opportunity for us to just kind of get a neighborhood perspective on a few things. So look forward to Yolanda being back on next week. She has like a crazy amazing perspective, because she is in the middle of helping to shape and develop the minds of these young people, and I would love to have her share her perspective with you on that and many other topics. So thank you so much for joining Positive TV. I am your host, Daniel Smiley, and we will see you guys next week. If you joined in late, you can catch this replay on my YouTube channel. Just search Daniel Smiley. You can catch it on Facebook, and it'll also be on Instagram stories. I'll talk to you guys soon.